ready for our guest. We had to change the set for our holiday season to continue. Okay, we are on our phase 2026. We have our special guest today, Smart Guy.
Smart.
Welcome to Push Fashion Inc. I'm
I'm
Kendria. Shout out to Bigga Network.
Ashley, also known as Mosa Melinda. Check me out on Instagram.
Yes. So again, our phase is 2026, new year, powerful, universal year.
Yes.
Bold leadership, new beginnings, personal responsibility. You have anything to say about the new year or just,
What's your outlook, or how do you start every new year?
No, I think at the end of the year, I start prepping for the new year so I can develop momentum. So I try to make the New Year's resolutions maybe 6 months out.
Okay.
And try to get like a head start. So when you go into the new year, you have momentum and you're able to, cultivate and maintain new habits.
Yeah, you're already on autopilot. You're already there.
Yeah, for sure.
I get
Yes.
you.
For sure.
I get you.
Yes. Okay, so yes, we'll start off with that. That was good. So let's get into it. Who do we have here today? Let's go. Okay. Mr. Smart Guy, you go ahead and ask your...
Okay, so here's my
how you say his name.
Oh,
Or,
yeah.
Yes.
You got the intro. Would you read the bio, the intro? That's important. That's critical. Yeah.
Okay, so we did go through your stuff.
That I sent it to you.
Do you want me to read
Yes,
it?
You did.
Because you are from Harlem, as is Kendria, and I currently live in Harlem.
Okay, it's a great place.
Let's see. All right, I will read it. Born and raised in the heart of Harlem, Smart turned a life of chaos into a mission of purpose. With a mother who was battling addiction and a father who was never in the picture, he entered the foster care system at a young age, learning early what it meant to survive without a safety net. Those years of instability and abandonment led him down a path that landed him behind bars, but prison became the unexpected turning point. It was there that he discovered his voice, his discipline, you could see the 6-month thing, and his vision for a different future. Today, Smart's a rapper, motivational speaker, a boxer, a community activist using every platform available to uplift the communities that shaped him. His music tells stories of struggle, resilience, and redemption, while his work in schools, youth detention centers, and nonprofit programs inspire young people to fight for their dreams instead of fighting their circumstances. This is achieved through his Clarity initiatives providing mentorship.
His charities.
Charities, thank you. I didn't practice this.
Charity initiative.
His charity initiatives providing mentorship, resources, and hope. Smart is committed to breaking cycles and building futures. What was once defined by pain is now a movement defined by purpose. Smart stands as living proof that no starting point is too low, no past is too broken, and no dream is too distant. Harlem raised him, hardship refined him, and now he's using his platform to make sure the next generation does not have to learn the hard way.
Okay,
Perfect.
so I'll start off by saying, I always kind of connect with different associates or friends. Usually the guests that come on are connected in some way or form. So, yes, I met you at a HHF showcase, and your song that you performed, you talked about, your mom being addicted, basically kind of what was in that bio.
For sure.
And how you state, I'm born from Miami, raised by Harlem. My mother had a terrible addiction also, and my father wasn't in the picture. However, looking at what comes out of it, you can either make your life an excuse and fall into that, because in Harlem there's a lot of people that are drug addicted or whatever the case, and come from certain downfalls and they kind of fall into it. Or you become strength,
Yes.
and you build strength off of that. So that was beautiful, just connecting. Growing up in Harlem, seeing Harlem and I started giving back growing up in Harlem and seeing all the struggle and the kids and certain stuff, and me having a mom addicted and going through certain stuff. That's where my philanthropy and stuff came out of giving back and all that. So I just want to say a connection, like
Oh yeah, for sure.
people of power coming out of Harlem, a lot of Harlem. And then I'm gonna make a joke real quick because, you know, bang bang, bang bang, bang bang, Harlem. Show
Yes,
the fit.
the
We still
drip.
want to push fashion.
Give us a
Show
hand.
the
Can you
fit.
show the
Show
hand?
the fit real quick. Show the fit.
Right.
Bang bang bang. Harlem. My Harlem guests. You know, I do street interviews. Harlem, we don't play.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, let's get into it. So yes, smart guy. Say your name. Say your name. Ask him how to say his name.
Yeah, say your name in the mic so we can hear it, please.
Okay. Aliko.
Aliko.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, but everybody calls me smart. Sometimes smart guy. Sometimes smarty.
Where did this smart guy come from? Were you a smart ass or were you just very smart intellectually?
No, I mean, I've always been intelligent. I think when I went to prison, you know, one of my friends, he was telling me, like, you know, names have impact, right? Like, what you decide to call yourself can, you know, become present in your life. So if your name is murder, drama, you
That's a
can
good
be
point.
manifesting these things to your life.
Yeah.
So I was just contemplating what would be something that I would love to be.
It's a great description, adjective to be called smart.
Yes.
Vibrationally associated with, and it's an acronym: success, motivation, ambition, righteous truth.
Oh,
That-
what?
Okay,
what
say it
smart
again.
Means?
Yeah.
Yes,
Say it again.
say it
So
again.
smart stands for.
Success, motivation, ambition, righteous truth. And the more, so people ask me, hey, what's your name? So I would say smart, like read a lot of books. And I would always say that. And I picked it, and I've been saying that for years. And it kind of, me telling people my name, I almost converted that into an affirmation or a reminder.
Yeah.
Like, my name is smart. Like, read a lot of books. I'm reinforcing the fact that I'm an avid reader to myself.
Okay.
And that would just keep me
Is that one of the
focused.
goals too? Like to
Focus.
read more books every year and do things to
Yeah.
train your brain. What do you know what your birth name means, Aliko? Because
Yeah,
usually
power.
Muslim names are.
Power.
Yeah.
Oh, it means power.
Beautiful.
Nice. Okay.
Beautiful.
Fitting. It all fits.
Yes, yes. Which goes again, I want to say, because that, dealing with your manager, he was just, make sure you got the mantra.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
How you think creates how you feel. How you feel becomes an emotion. The emotion becomes a vibration. That vibration becomes a magnet that attracts things
to
around
you.
you. So let's get into the questions.
Oh, well, hold on. I want to get to that too before we.
Oh, he's ready.
Yeah, I ain't want to breeze over that, right? Because that's important, right?
Yes.
So the mantra. So again, my life and my purpose or my life's work is about helping our people sever the slave consciousness. So we're not victims of white supremacy, racism,
Yes.
the after effects of slavery, and how our minds work, how and understanding the mind and understanding the brain is imperative, is important. So the mantra, yeah, I didn't want to just breeze over that. And
Okay.
I think when my manager was driving home was, and he had a conversation with me too, right? Like making sure I don't allow my audience, my fans, my supporters, my family to become desensitized with the mantra. Like, they know it. A lot of people that support me know it, but I want them to always be mindful of, you know, what it is. How you think creates how you feel.
Yeah.
How you feel becomes an emotion. That emotion becomes a vibration. That vibration becomes a magnet that attracts things to you. So what it is cognitive behavioral therapy,
Okay.
CBT, thoughts, behaviors, actions, right? And the environmental input affects your thoughts. And we have to understand that a lot of our men, black men in particular, we were denied the ability to function as husbands in society.
Okay.
Not being allowed to be providers, protectors, maintainers, financial anchors for our family, and an authoritative force in the family. Because the black family structure, the black family marriage was a threat. The black marriage is a threat to the slave system. And it's a threat to white supremacy, right? So it's designed to protect white supremacy and creating and mass marketing a slave consciousness. So even though we've been in bondage for over 400 years and we're still in bondage, we don't have the inclination or the intention to free ourselves, and we don't understand the tools necessary for our liberation. This is why this mantra is so important. So
Okay.
black men, we've been promoted as weak, unreliable, worthless through history, religion,
Dangerous.
movies,
Yes.
media,
Threatening.
music, right? And also the forceful criminalization of black men, to where, you know, we're the first men on the planet, right?
Right.
Black men are the most powerful, strongest, intelligent,
We all came from Africa.
durable, right?
Yeah,
That's the truth
I'm
of it.
sorry, I don't want to pause, but I'm going to make a quick
Yeah.
little joke. And everybody's figuring it out because they're doing their DNA, one, two,
Yeah.
three. And when we all originate, they all like, oh, I'm black. Yeah, you too. I was
Yeah.
trying to tell
Yeah,
you.
yeah. But that's a badge of honor, right?
Right.
So, we have to understand that it's always plans put in play to punish us for the slave consciousness, but not creating institutions that have empathy for those who suffer from the slave consciousness, right? This is why understanding CBT is so important. So it's almost like punishing the victims conditioned by white supremacy, but not the inventors and creators of the systems that uphold white supremacy, because the ones in charge of accountability are either white supremacists themselves or have an alliance or strategic partnership with them. So we don't realize that how you think creates how you feel. When you're conditioned to think a certain type of way, and when you think a certain type of way, you behave a certain type of way. So now you're being held accountable for the behavior, but the people who are contributing to creating the circumstances or environment that generates the behavior never get held accountable, so we don't see any change, right? So just a couple more points, right?
Yes. And something you said, I'm going to go back to it on
Yeah.
just a connection.
Yeah, 'cause
I got you.
super
understanding.
deep.
So this is
Yeah.
so,
Wasn't expecting it.
so this is going back to what I was saying about my mantra, right? How you think creates how you feel. How you feel becomes an emotion. That emotion becomes a vibration. That vibration becomes a magnet that attracts things to you, right? How you think creates chemicals that are released into the bloodstream. Cortisol, adrenaline, oxytocin. This changes how your body feels and how it acts, right? So cortisol is a stress survival hormone. It causes anxiety, poor sleep, weight gain, specifically belly fat.
Speaking my language.
No, this is a strength
Hormonal.
that has to be taught. Keep
Yeah.
going,
high
because
blood
I'm going to
pressure,
connect.
high blood pressure, weakened immunity, muscle breakdown. Adrenaline, that's a fight or flight chemical, causes heart palpitations. This is like pounding in the heart. Panic attacks, headaches, digestive issues, trembling, fatigue, and eventually burnout, because the nervous system never fully powers down. Then the last thing is oxytocin. When it's low or disrupted, it causes, and a lot of our women are conditioned to have lowered levels of oxytocin. So it creates this loneliness, emotional numbness, difficulty trusting others, stress, inflammation, and a weaker immune function. And this started from the plantation because, like I told you previously, the black marriage or the black family structure is a threat to the slave system, it's a threat to white supremacy. So they have different tactics for black men and black women to keep us from functioning at our maximum potential
Sticking together.
in relationships, right? And when you incentivize the removal of oxytocin from black women, and then you make it a financial incentive, then she's paid to be desensitized. She's paid to not have empathy. She's paid to have these masculine ambitions without a touch of femininity. And with the removal of her wisdom and balance, she's not in her proper role that God created her to be in. So we never have the version of a family that we need to be competitive in the world in terms of contribution and closing the wealth gap. I got 2 more points, right?
Okay.
So they quietly shape behavior and personality. In relationships, this looks like conflict, mistrust, dominance battles, avoidance or shutting down, aggression, constant competition, outrage cycles, and fear-based decision making. Chemistry trains character. So we're battling each other, and naturally the nature of a man is to be the dominant force.
Yes.
Is to be the head of the household. Off camera you was talking about feeding the husband for the children. Damn right, because the husband is the protector, and if the husband is
Nourished and not fed,
right, he can't protect.
he can't function. Yeah.
Right? So God created a system. God created a hierarchy for the family. It's God, the man, the woman, and then the children.
Right.
That's the natural order. And because we've been taken out of that natural order, and the slave trade was a catalyst for that, we're victims, and we don't even realize how deep this shit is and how we are affected by it, right? So it's important for us to be aware of that, and that's why I have that, that mantra of how you think creates how you feel, how you feel
Yes.
becomes an emotion.
And that's your passion,
Emotion
like
becomes a vibration,
instilling
vibration
people
becomes a magnet that attracts you to.
Okay, so that's kind of my motto, like, don't let stress you, because stress kills. And you broke it down of what things can happen from
In
just stress
medical
and
sense, yeah.
the mentality of when you have a low mentality and what happens. That kind of, your mantra is kind of like The Secret. You heard of The Secret?
It's nothing like The Secret.
Not all the way like The Secret. However, not the whole breakdown of The Secret, but one of the parts of The Secret is kind of how you
the vision, how you think,
how
yeah.
you vision, and not
No,
to
because the thing about Europeans and white men in particular is they plagiarize our sciences. We're the innovators, right? And they create these theologies, these systems.
Paraphrasing.
Okay, so let's take away from The Secret in the book and all of that. Let's get more of what your mantra meaning, and kind of what I was bringing up. The Secret, only one point of The Secret.
Yeah, but I don't. But
is more of you visioning
but let me say
and positive
Let me cut
visioning.
you off there because I don't want to promote. I don't want to promote what they're doing, right?
That's why I said I'm gonna take the word. The
Yeah.
word. We're
And
talking about
I've read the book.
a thought process.
I've read the book several times. I saw the documentary. It was horrible.
No, I ain't read the whole
And they
book.
talk
I
about-
only
they
read
talk
some of the
about-
parts
they
that I
watched the
liked.
movie.
They talk
Years
about
ago.
they talk about
I ain't watched the movie.
witchcraft and misrepresentations of alchemy, and you got to realize that our people were the fathers and mothers of civilization. We created all these sciences, so slave consciousness is so powerful that when we speak on things that we create, the reference is the European. It's almost like, oh well, yeah,
Yeah,
no,
you're right.
No,
You're right
fuck
about
y'all.
that.
This came from us, and
Yeah.
all. And side note, Shakespeare, you know whose ghostwriter was? It was a black woman named Amelia.
I'm not surprised.
Amelia-
That would have been my name.
Amelia. Damn, I forgot the last name. You should know it. But right, so you look at Shakespeare like this revered writer, when in actuality he never wrote shit. He was an idiot.
And as our world goes on and we start getting real
I think it's
history,
Amelia Bassano, if I'm not
Is
mistaken.
she Spanish?
and
Not
there's a
black.
lot of,
Black,
which is why I
Bassano.
love social media, because actually it's given us real history of over the years. You've seen who was really behind it.
And let me just hold on.
A lot
And-
of black people were
and-
behind a
and
lot
let
of
me just say something
stuff.
too, right? So, me coming on your show is to get the message out, right?
Yes.
So, a disclaimer, everything that I'm bringing is for the betterment of us, right? So
Yes.
it's not to discredit what you got going on. And a lot of times, I think when I speak like this with women, especially
Getting
women in our
the fights.
culture, it's this thing where there's this internal conflict, right? It's a dominance thing, right? I'm a man, I'm a leader, I get revelations from God. So I'm always going to take pride in my intelligence
Yes.
and making sure that I want to get this message out,
Yes.
right? Without getting into a debate, or you have your opinion, I respect it, but I want to make sure this information is out.
And yes, again, like, because of who I'm talking to,
Yeah.
and you have a very strong, authentic way of how you think in your process and breaking it down, where I don't want to say certain words that kind of make it like you said, The Secret is a European type analogy.
It is.
Where, one, I didn't read the whole book because I wasn't interested in reading the whole book. I had just heard certain things, and I found certain things that I connected with it, and it's how you think. Because, one, I came from a mom on drugs. I didn't come from money. All of us are not lucky where we're balanced and stable. So depending on, either you could fall into that shit and break down and let your past break you down, or you could. Some of us don't have strong minds, and some of us are lucky to have strong minds and come from broken stuff. So I was just connecting to the mind process of you saying how your vibration is and how you think.
mindset.
I got you. Just,
So it was more so connecting with how you think
Yeah.
is how you can. And
just for the record, black man created that affirmation. I created that.
yes,
From Rip,
and
right?
coming back to saying don't let regular stress you. And my point of that is when you let regular stuff stress you, and a lot of people get into letting regular stress you, bills, just you not being in the house you want to be, not being in the car you want to be, not being in the relationship you want to be, and you can't let stress, because stress kills, and it start doing other type of part of ailments in your body, and people don't think that. And I'm one of those people that don't let regular stress you. Go into your process of thinking where you want to be or what you want to do, whatever your goals are, whatever. So just loving your mantra and connecting with it.
I don't know if it's a European trait, probably is, but I love this thing I learned called the 369 method because I like to write and I always have notebooks. So I would routinely write, something like a manifestation 3 times in the morning, another manifestation in the midday 6 times, and another one at night 9 times.
Question: how do you feel about that word manifestation or that type of?
I mean, it's cool. But so just to
Because you know how some people kind of connect it with witchery or
no. So
okay.
So
Spirituality.
you gotta understand, we're dealing with systemic racism, right? And we've been forcefully indoctrinated and conditioned to have a slave consciousness. So anything
Pause. And when you say that, what consciously? What
finish.
is the slave conscience? The breakdown.
So we've been conditioned to have the slave consciousness. We've been conditioned to think in a way that leads to our destruction. So we've also been conditioned to have a lack of confidence. Black men in particular, right? So the only way for us to change our conditions is for black men to be in that proper position. And if you don't have the ingredients or the recipe for that, you'll never be there. And it's not just simply saying I need to be thinking optimistic, but I have to be mindful that I'm being conditioned to think in a different way. Like I said, TV, media, everywhere you turn the TV on, I'm not as revered by black women as Elon Musk, right? Let's call a spade, right? Or Jeff Bezos, when these people are idiots who just have the luxury.
Well, the privilege of a lot
That's
of
right.
things.
You never where you're born into
of leveraging, white supremacy, but it's really they're inferior and we're superior, right? So we have to start creating sciences, and this is what I'm doing to remind, recalibrate, and reawaken the mind of our people. The next thing is understanding that our, like I just gave the breakdown of when you think negative, your body produces chemicals. Like you're literally producing a chemical that goes into your bloodstream.
Because your body is reacting to the thought.
Yeah, that's why I said.
Sorry, connecting. Go ahead and finish, because then I'm going to take a moment in life where that's why I think I'm going to make an example. Go ahead.
So this is why I said cortisol, adrenaline, oxytocin, right? So your thoughts also are influenced by the environment that you're in, right? The things that you see, the trauma, the programming. So white supremacists, they understand this. So they put these messages indirectly and directly in front of us, and then it makes us susceptible to thoughts that create these chemicals. I have
to write notes to go back to what you're saying.
It's like I already feel like wearing this hair.
But when I drop it, it's all there, right? Because I put it together. Right? So we're conditioned to think a certain way, specifically with the intention to create these chemicals
with them being
that create this behavior. And then now we're held accountable for the behavior, but the people who create the conditions that create the behavior are not held accountable, because the people in charge of accountability are either white supremacists themselves or embed and have alliance or allegiance to white supremacists. And then it's like it's a aligning of interest with every other culture. So our people, we have no power, no seat at the table. So nobody gives a fuck about what we're going through, right? So we have to care about what we're going through, and we have to become a little more educated, a little more complex with information, content. And
so how do we do this? How do you teach the youth now who are coming from broken families? The younger, I'm a millennial, so I'm not that. I look young, but I'm not that young. Yeah. So, how do you instill this in them?
Yeah. Again. So, and then now we say, okay, look, our behavior is being quietly shaped as well as personalities, right?
Look, we're in a class.
I went through this.
Yeah.
Now, this is a very sensitive subject, but being a parent, when you talk this way, I go into, right, when I was at the bus stop growing up in Harlem
Yeah.
with my 5-year-old, I just did not understand why. Because sexual preference or whatever, sexual, you deal with when you're an adult. But I felt kind of like being at the bus stop. I only really seen this on bus stops in Harlem, not really downtown, and I've traveled everywhere.
Yeah.
But I'm on
The
121st, and it's a two black boys kissing up a storm on a bus stop.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting here with my 5-year-old, which to me is like
Yeah.
they're trying to condition us, which everybody
Because-
can be
because-
accepted.
because-
Everybody is
no,
everybody.
no. Homosexuality is weaponized to protect against white genetic annihilation. And because we're not taught psychology, we don't have no understanding of child psychology or neuroscience, we mistake the programming for something that is innate, right? And not learned behavior, right? So if your child watches a cartoon
Or program.
and then there's hidden
Goes
messages
into our topics later.
and there's hidden messages in that, now these thoughts are being indirectly inserted into the child's psyche, and then those thoughts create chemicals, and then when there's food that they put a lot of hormones in the food
Yes.
that is affecting the sexuality of the child. Now there's an expression, and then when the people who have authority are saying this is okay, they don't feel bad about what they're conditioned to do, even though what they're conditioned to do is bad and bad for them, because homosexuality is an abomination in the eyes of God, and a man should never be with a man, a woman should never be with a woman.
I'm
And-
so proud that
and-
you could
and-
be proud to say that and not be, because it's
I
such
get it.
a,
No, they.
you know.
No, they. So look now, again. So
No,
we,
they. No,
so
they.
we have to understand chemistry, physiology, how our body works.
Yes.
Right, and then also understand that our thoughts produce chemicals associated with what we're thinking, and it takes about 3 minutes for our bodies to start producing chemicals associated with what we're thinking. So this is why I'm, the inventor of what I said, the negative speak fast. When you go 30 days not speaking nothing negative, but
Okay.
you also have to deal with the withdrawal, because if somebody's addicted.
What if you're hilarious and you love to be sarcastic? Because I am one of those people.
Sarcasm is just a nice way to dress up insecurities and how you really feel.
Yeah.
But
Well.
when you
Yo,
go,
I love.
when you go,
I have
so
to-
I got you. So the negative speak fast, right? The negative speak fast is when you go 30 days of not saying nothing negative or entertaining negative content, right? So
Me
when
not
you-
letting my husband's negative comments.
but when you
Or even watching funny memes
when you think
online.
of something, right, for 3 minutes, your body produces the chemical associated with what you're thinking. So because you're probably not aware that this is taking place internally, your body has to go through an internal conflict of interest when you try to think positive. You're going to go through a period of what they call acute withdrawal, where you're trying to think good, but you're feeling bad. You're trying to do good, but you're feeling bad. And because you're feeling bad, you associated optimism with something that's not naturally good for you. So you typically revert back to your old way of thinking or functioning. So you have to understand the withdrawal. It's like, somebody who's addicted to dope. You can't just say stop doing dope. They're going to have to chain you to a bed because you're
Yep.
dope sick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
you get the,
That's
So you go
a
through
rule.
withdrawal. But with positive thinking, it's the same way. And the chemicals are so strong that you need a period of time where the chemicals you create and produce from now thinking positive, they have to cancel out the chemicals you've been producing for years by thinking negative.
negative, yeah.
And
Right.
that's a strong thing to
Wait,
do
hold on, hold on,
because
hold
It's the training. You have to train
Hold on.
yourself.
So now we have to understand the importance of that, and then the application of it. It takes 3 minutes or more. So when you pray, your prayer has to be repetitious. Your affirmation has to be
I read
repetitious.
mine again today.
Your mantra has to be repetitious. But now it has to fit the timetable for your biochemistry. So because it might take her 5 minutes, it might take you 2 minutes, might take me 20 minutes to develop a chemical positive like a dopamine, a serotonin, or melatonin with something that's positive, and you'll never know how long it takes your body to produce
you-
these chemicals.
Are you
Hold
Now,
on,
someone
look,
who
wait,
believes
look.
in
wait, hold on,
science, like
hold on,
medications?
because we're not gonna listen. You're someone, you're not gonna be able to get the time for this chemical production if you're not meditating and aware of it. So it takes the body 3 minutes to start producing a chemical associated with what you're thinking. And because most of your thoughts that you think negative, you're not thinking them consciously, you're thinking them subconsciously. So you're running on autopilot. So it's very easy to produce those chemicals. And now when you start to consciously think of something positive, you may think something positive for literally 2 seconds. Oh, I can do it. That's not long enough.
I do think scared.
That's
and
not.
That influences me to stay positive. And I always remind myself when I'm nervous.
Yeah.
It means
There's many
I care.
different levels of this challenge.
No, I know, I agree.
Depends on the person.
That's not long
What's
enough.
around them.
That's not long enough for you to produce those chemicals. This is why you have to understand the science. This is why I'm making sure I get this out, because it's not just something to say cool. Because this is I have to. People have to understand that.
And you said this is like a 30-day challenge.
Yeah, this is a negative speak fast.
A 30-day negative speak fast.
Yes, but you also have to apply affirmations for a minimum of 3 minutes or more. So now you can produce chemicals, and then create chemicals conducive to your emotional, spiritual, mental, and economic liberation from the slave consciousness, right? And that's the framework of it.
What I'm
is
saying
great, I believe in that.
When I say different levels of people, where this challenge, some people are around negative people, and this is a good challenge where you're saying you have to be positive, and even with those negatives, you still have to block. So that's another challenge.
Yeah, not just you
staying
and yourself,
into
but the people you're around. Well, environment. That's what he meant by environment.
Say it again. It's called negative.
Negative speak fast.
Negative speak fast.
But it goes back to the mantra, right? How you think creates how you feel. How you feel becomes an emotion. That emotion becomes a vibration. That vibration becomes a magnet that attracts things to you. Mm-hmm. That attracts things to you.
Meaning
that attracts things to you and repels things away from you. So you're only in an environment that you created by your repetitive thought. You only have people in your life that are in your life due to the gravitational pull of you pulling them in your life. And when you start to shift your energy, those people will actually leave your life.
Yep.
Okay, so in terms of you're repeating your stuff.
Yeah.
And you having certain people around you where you want to. In my normal, I always pray because I'm a business oriented person. I have certain passions and goals, and I always pray. Please reflect them immediately. Because I have my blinders on and I don't have time to be going through negative and seeing who I need on my team or not, because I'm really focused. But I always say, please reflect immediately, reveal who they are immediately, so I can keep it moving and get them out of my circle and get them out my energy.
Yeah,
but
intuition.
But you don't see. It's the thing of no force needed for the removal, right? They're removed by the energy, right? So we have a conversation. And who I am as a man and how I think and how I converse and how I communicate, that's going to be offsetting for someone. Right?
I'll give you a more example what I'm getting to.
And hold on. I'm adamant about just being who I am. The people who are in disagreement with who I am, they're going to reveal that on their own.
Yeah.
I'm giving it no energy, right? And I'm only going to internalize and never vocalize what my focal points are. And I have to live in a spirit of application. And then because that application creates a vibration that attracts and also repels, right? So this is why I said it's important for us to understand these sciences.
So can I say when the reveal is the repel, when you say repel is to...
And listen, this is why we have to understand these sciences and the intention behind the people who put us in need of these sciences. So black men are not valued, right? Like, we're not the head of our households. Like, we're not the authority of shit, right? And that's by design. So now when we understand what that is and why that is, we can start to change it. And then when we can educate our women on what the role they play in breaking down the family, they can now begin to contribute to building up the family, building up that man, and letting him run the family.
Now, because you say that in whole, but have you come across or do you believe that there is some positive black families out there?
No,
One, I'm a black family.
Yeah.
And my family, like my kids, my family, my whole rundown.
Yeah. But what I mean by this, I'm talking about on a macro level, right? I'm talking about on a larger scale. right? Name a black Rockefeller. Name a black De Beers.
Jay-Z, we can't, isn't
Right.
becoming that? You wouldn't
Name a black
say?
Rockefeller.
Okay,
You
so
can't,
in
right?
that term of,
Well, he's
But you
building
don't-
generational wealth, isn't he?
in
Why
somewhat, and are you
Disagree?
stating that because he doesn't give back, or because of how
What I'm
his?
saying is the wealth, and that's part of the slave consciousness too, right? We like to point to these so-called entertainers,
Or Kanye West, because
Right.
he's a free thinker.
right?
And,
When Elon Musk is worth $300 billion
yeah.
and Warren Buffett is worth $300 billion, and when you look at the amount of billionaires in comparison to black billionaires,
billionaires,
is no.
Existent.
It's
Yeah.
like, what are you talking
And it's
about?
sad
you
to
talking
say
about
a
Oprah's a
design that
billionaire.
was
Oprah's
before
not a
us.
billionaire.
She's not?
Oprah's
Oh.
not a billionaire. Jay-Z's not a billionaire. We have to stop letting people market this number, and none of these people are liquid and don't even own companies that move the needle, right? And if you look at the Forbes, you look at his net worth, it'll say 2 billion, and go Google Elon, it'll say 300. And then you're talking about one person in comparison. Let me finish. One person in comparison to maybe thousands of white men who are billionaires, right? And what does Jay-Z own? And it's not his fault, right? This is just the system, right? What do the people who we think have wealth, what do they actually own? Nothing. And what type of behind the door alliances do they have to have, and how have they compromised their masculinity, their integrity, their relationship with God? How have they compromised that to get
Where they are,
a
yeah.
crumb of the finances that they're allowed to have due to the position that they've been placed in by someone who's white, right? And I'm not pocket watching, but I don't look at that as wealth, right? And I look at being competitive, and I look at black men ruling and running the world. I don't look at it as some token man, one out of. No, it should be the norm for every black man to make billions, because that's our just due. This is who we are.
Not just from entertainment. That's the thing.
And the wealth
too.
gap,
And
the wealth gap
sports.
should not only be closed, but it should be superseded, right? We're talking about wealth, right? Real wealth, right? Real money.
Like the people who own the color blue wealth.
Yes. No, like the people who colonized Africa and
Them too.
run the government, But
I mean,
yeah.
Again,
Not
that's
to get
like
time
where
No,
I'm
we're
thinking of
born.
I'm thinking
That's
of,
again where
Chris
some
Rock
of us
stand-up.
are not, like, if you're not blessed to be born into that or associated with that, still have a strong mind. And I say be content wherever you're at, and your hustle got to be to get you wherever you want to go, and you have to be realistic with yourself and balance yourself.
Another thing I thought about is when I first moved here last year, because I'm not from New York, I'm from Philly, but there was a guy trying to push me to sell insurance and was saying how what's the problem with wealth, and how we don't really know until we study the history of those people who are wealthy. Some of the first expenses they invested in was life insurance and making sure their kids had life insurance, and that money
Again.
stayed within the family. And those are things that culturally our race doesn't prioritize or doesn't think
and he
about.
calls it his show American Fortune. I go into that of understanding the American way of life. Like if you do it properly and understand insurance, that's a kind of way of generational wealth.
Yeah,
where
building, yeah.
It's not for you in that time, it's for the next. It's kind of you building for your
But
next.
people with good finance skills know how to take it out and use it while they are living, and
And
I
that's
forget what the
one
terms are,
thing.
refinance or whatever. But I don't know much
I
about that stuff.
always-
But
research on understanding finances and
Yeah.
how to build for the next.
yeah, but I'm saying normal, like in normal culture of our culture, brown and black culture, we're not taught those things. Like I remember a little after I finished school, they were telling
It's in our face.
parents were telling us that kids should learn in history class how to manage money, what is health insurance, like all those things. And I don't know if they're doing it now, but I wish
No.
they did, because when I was an adult, I didn't really understand health insurance and which was the best plans for me at any job I had.
One, I'll make an example. Credit.
Yeah,
When you
building
if
credit.
you don't if you're not a part of a financial stable family, you go into college. College is not for everybody, and no
Right,
one
not
knows.
everybody
but
goes to
then
college.
When you get on campus, they start throwing those credit cards at you,
And you
then you
take
can
'em.
blow them up.
And I
but then that's
maxed
the
them all.
beginning of your American financial. Where I was sitting in I graduated from NYU. I'm sitting in the laundromat, and This should be a class, not a freaking sign in the laundromat. When these credit cards come to you, it's not for you to blow up. It's for you to start building your credit. Some people are attached, don't want to be a part of the American society of certain stuff. But if you understand, that's how you could go get a loan, and that's how you could go and travel the world if you do it right.
Right.
We're not taught on even how we spend our money. We can all have small businesses. Trump said it all the time. He pay his kids. Where if you understand ways of doing your taxes and doing it correctly and doing it as a small business, you could get more back and build, and you could get that money you spending on your kids' clothes. If you pay it for a proper way, you could get it back and double your money. That's how I look at taxes and building when you're doing your businesses. You doubling that money, but if you understand it, it's right there for you to do with paperwork and do it properly.
Right, but
and get the money
I
back.
bring up these points because we're talking about the generation after us and what's being taught and what they're accustomed to, and they're not accustomed to a lot of this stuff.
Let's talk about this boxing, man.
Yeah, so let's talk about that because is that what happened to your finger?
Yeah.
Are you a middleweight?
Light heavyweight.
Light heavy? Okay.
Yeah.
When did you start?
Shit, wow.
You got knocked out and then you were like, never again?
No.
The streets, you was like, yeah, I'm going to learn.
No, I never got knocked out. No.
So
you never lost
said-
a fight? Ever? Wow.
And your weight is middleweight?
Light
Heavyweight.
heavy.
Heavyweight?
Yeah.
Okay.
But growing up, I had a lot of anger. I had a lot of rage. So, and I would fight. I've been fighting since fucking 5 years old. So I didn't.
Sad to say.
Yeah.
In Harlem, you got to fight. I grew up fighting. My brother grew up fighting.
Yeah.
I was only in one fight and I was 11 years old. And we ripped each other's T-shirts. And then my brother came out and her brother came out and they fought. And then our fight was over because we were like, oh my God. I forget what happened, but yeah.
So boxing was before music, or? Well, yeah, because you said since 5.
I think everything kind of was like around the same time, because I don't look at it like it's like being a fighter. You're growing up and you don't have family support or that family structure. You got to defend yourself, right? So fighting and that just was a way of life, right? Like you going to school, you're gonna be fighting. After school, you're gonna be fighting. You go to the park, you're gonna be fighting. You live in the projects, you're gonna be fighting.
Were you a bully or were you bullied, or both? No one likes bullies, but I was bullied. And that's another thing with the generation. Everybody's so soft and sensitive because there's no bullies.
It wasn't really like we looking at, and as a kid, you don't look at it as like a bully. Any weakness you got is kill or be killed, right? So any weakness you got growing up, and unfortunately a lot of times in the hood, it's going to be exploited.
Yes.
So you either learn.
So everybody knew who got beat up. They're like, oh, you.
Well,
I don't know about you saying one who got beat up. You know what I'm saying? But
no, I mean,
I think for me personally, I got busy outside, so I ain't never had no problems. But I think growing up, that kind of like, I want to get better at it, right? Because I'm fighting more. I'm always fighting somebody older than me, fighting my mother's boyfriends. I'm fighting everybody, so I need to learn how to do this.
Sound like baby boy.
Does that word hate, like, sorry, but it's a lot of haters. People be hating, or however you want to say it. Just angry, mad just because you.
I don't be paying these people no mind.
Why were you fighting all the time? Because
fighting, because you're not really aware as a kid, right? As a kid, you just punch me in the face.
You wasn't starting the fights.
That's what I was asking, if it was
You
a
wasn't
bully or
starting
were
the
you
fights?
bullied?
No.
Okay.
So people was coming at you, and that's the energy that people be mad just because you who you are and want to start problems.
Yeah, we live. The hood is kind of like conditioned for violence. That's what goes back to what I said earlier, right?
Yeah.
Cognitive behavioral therapy, thoughts, feelings, behaviors. So we're conditioned to hate each other.
Yeah.
We're conditioned to have this territorial approach.
Because you're like, where it
wasn't
come
there
from?
Wasn't there an era though where your neighbors were like your family?
Probably a long
And it
time
ended
ago.
a long time ago.
It's still like that, but we dealing with white supremacy. That's why I said we always held accountable for the reaction and not the action that caused us to react the way we react. So it's almost like there's this invisible puppet master pulling the strings on Pinocchio, but nobody's looking at Geppetto, and we're not looking at the government, the laws, the chemtrails, the lack of jobs, the media. All that's real, and because we're not taught how the mind works, we don't realize that you can be influenced indirectly to move and function and behave in a certain way. So this is why we got the Negative Speak Fast. This is why I'm doing the No Labels tour. This is why I speak the way I speak. I create the content that I create. and I'm serious about.
Are you kind of like the
conversations.
what's her name?
No, I'm like me.
No, but I know you're like you, but
Like me.
you're making me think of the Republican black girl
I'm like me, man. I'm
who's
like me.
big on online.
I'm like me, man.
Do you know who I'm talking
I don't
about?
want to keep name dropping people, giving people free publicity.
I get you. You don't even want me to say it.
Go on.
I forgot her name.
Question.
I forgot her
Yeah,
name
yeah.
now. She's like about to get sued too by somebody.
Oh, well, God bless him.
He's like cut. So we were talking about boxing. I asked you if you've been bullied. You have a favorite
hold on.
boxer or inspiration?
And then with the boxing, it's like, boxing is tough. I like it because it's discipline and it's routine.
Yes.
Right? Like, I'm a stickler for repetition and routine. So to be good at, boxing, like, you got to be
in really good shape.
That's what I enforce with my kids with sports.
You got to be committed, right? You got to be committed.
I deal with
You got to be
football,
consistent.
wrestling.
You got to be shadow boxing. You got to be doing the road work. You got to be sparring. You got to be watching footage. You just got to be serious and disciplined, right? And, I think...
Well, sports is very good for discipline.
For sure. 100%. Especially with boxing.
Adults.
Boxing and combat sports is just takes the cake, right? And I think because I came from such a dysfunctional family, I value now discipline. Like, I value these things that my parents should have instilled in me. Now I'm old enough, wise enough, mature enough to instill these things in myself, and I'm just basking in the glow of, my personal development and showcasing my abilities across multiple, areas.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us,
music, boxing, motivational speaking, community work, all the stuff you read in the bio,
some people are very blessed with strength, inside strength, and knowing how to maneuver and come above.
I managed to teach myself how to transmute negative energy, negative people and thoughts into positive. So I'm an artist, I'm an aspiring artist and actress. So when I think about negative things or things that make me depressed or sad, I remind myself, even in my manifestations, to transmute it into my art. So that monologue I performed for that audition, it's about a sad mom. I'm not a mom, but I'll take those feelings and use that when I'm performing.
Okay, yeah.
I feel like athletes do the same thing. They take that anger, that frustration, turn that into momentum and drive when they're performing.
Yes, on that goal.
When they're playing.
What's the next question you had? What has been your biggest accomplishment in life so far? Is that's a wide question because that's just accepting.
I don't think about that. I think my focus and one of my goals is just being better at being present.
Okay.
And valuing the present moment, and just having maximum control over my emotions. So I can.
Yes, that's what I'm doing.
I can be clear.
With just expressing, entrepreneurship is a entertainment type background where I deal with different stuff. I am a leader to a lot of people and stuff, so I have to balance out with my family.
Right.
And staying focused and not letting, because sometimes they don't understand and they get upset or whatever, where I have to do a lot of balancing of not letting the negative and stay focused or whatever. I was going to make a point, another point, of me just connecting where the family doesn't understand, and you can't let no, this is what we got to do. This is where we're at, and can't let.
I always take whenever you're communicating with me, for instance, you have your mind on 5 different things.
Yes,
so I
do.
know how to just be I have to just understand and remember. She's got 5 kids. She's got a husband. She's got 5 clients she's managing. She's got the podcast. There's so much. So.
Yeah, but just kind of understanding what you're saying and not letting the negative manifest around you and go into your main set being.
Sure.
Who's your favorite boxer? Do you have a favorite boxer?
Yeah.
Somebody you looked up?
I mean, I love Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson, Marvin Hagler, James Toney.
I know Bernard Hopkins, but that's because I'm from Philly. And Joe Frazier.
Roberto Durant, Terrence Crawford.
Okay.
And myself.
Okay, let's go. You have any other more serious questions? I want to have
Serious.
some fun with
She
Smart.
has the toxic questions.
They're not toxic.
So you also are a musician. We did listen to the song.
Yeah,
Who's
yeah,
like your
yeah.
biggest music influence?
Oh man, myself.
Of course, but there's got to be somebody you listened to as a kid and
I'm
liked.
from Harlem, man. I mean,
So
Okay, so this goes right into
Harlem, man.
my
Yeah,
question.
So what, Harlem Men is like they're their own? Nobody's,
No, I mean, what I would say is like.
don't say Diddy, Diddy?
Well, first of all, you know, God creates all of us unique, right?
Yeah.
And I think all of us have our own individual talents, right? But growing up in Harlem, there's a like a real focal on being you, right? Like we ain't pocket watching, we not dick riding.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
Like you could be over there making $1 million.
So
and
what?
we're not jealous. We, all right, I'm gonna get mine.
Right.
I might be inspired and say,
Hey,
all right,
can I get hands up?
like, all right, you know what I mean? But
I like that.
because I know I matter, right? So
Right.
with my music is so connected to my life. So the first time I ever wrote anything that rhymed was a poem I wrote to my grandmother. She was in the hospital. She had pneumonia, really bad pneumonia, and they was telling her like, yo, you know, she might die. I thought I never was gonna see my grandmother again. So I wrote her a poem. My aunt's friend at the time was a book publisher. So the poem got published in a book. And my grandmother got to the hospital. She said, yo, you know, your words healed me. She gassed me up, right? So I felt like, you know, that kind of pride with that. And then I just stayed focused on that, right? So I can't really draw inspiration outside of my memories, right? So if I'm, if I'm like, my daddy gone, mommy gone, it should have different type of pain. It should have been open arms. Said it was closed doors. My family treat me strange. Hey, yo, you supposed to be my brother. You treat my brother if you going against the grain. Yeah, I'm just another star
right now.
at odds with a telescope. They mad at the space between. Fuck a scoring title. I'd rather take a ring. You ever been so hungry it was hard to think? Heat won't work. Faucet broke. We taking showers in the sink. Sleep for suckers. I'm going so hard it's like I'm afraid to blink. Day ones could offend me. They starved me. They ain't do shit for me. I was down bad, back against the wall, but I kept receipts. Cause you know people stay close enough to you to make you feel like they apart, but watch them disappear. Poof! When it's time to play their part. Yo, you was with me shooting in the gym, but you ain't grab no. You was just with me shooting in the gym, but you ain't grab no rebounds. You ain't buy no water. Bitch, don't ask me what I need now. Laughed at me. Now they on my dick. I'm their favorite now. At the dealer, Ferrari's on the road. We picking flavors now. It was pennies then. Now I'm really rich. We getting paper now. Fucking Benz, $1 million cars. Bugattis take the crowns. The tourbillon. I guess I'm big enough for you to hate me now. You heard we on? Bitch, I'm fly as fuck. I think I hate the ground. You heard the song? Don't try to spend no blocks and give me pussy now.
Psych, let me not
I was
cipher.
broke. You left me on scene. Why would I want you next? Know what I mean? So,
Yo.
yeah, my shit be like,
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's gonna. Okay, so what block? Where you grew up? Where you grew up in Harlem? Where your block?
140th
140th. Okay, so that's a popular.
between Lennox and 7th.
Okay, that's
Okay.
okay. Let's get into it. So that
1st and 7th.
that gets
The
me to
area.
ask into like
West Side.
a Harlem culture. That's a very popular block that a lot of people come from. Big
Yeah.
L, Cameron, Max B. I think supposed to come from that area. Like, you have any opinion or maybe
Right.
not?
If he's,
'Cause I know
if he's
you're
not
very-
influenced by anybody, I don't know
Right,
if
we
he
know he's
likes
not
these
influenced,
rappers
but-
or.
See, the
you
thing
know-
about it is because we create, what I'm doing with my company, my brand is creating a confidence in black men to be innovators,
Okay.
right? You got to have confidence to be you. I matter. I don't, that's not like, people always try to take black men's confidence as some type of a, yo, no, why would I want an inspiration? Why would I want to be like somebody else? If you have a family and you was talking about husbands and stuff like that, you want your person, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want your person, right? So you wouldn't want your person to have you. You want to be spoken for or spoken to? Which one?
Spoken to.
No, you want to be spoken for. You heard?
Okay,
If
okay.
if your mind is right, I don't know. But so what I'm saying is for me per se,
So you have nothing to say about the Harlem
I don't want
rappers.
to be. I don't want to be. I never wanted to be nobody
Well,
else.
I never wanted to be like anybody else. That's for sure.
Yeah.
No
But
one. I mean, when
definitely
you
am
are a
inspired
confident
by other
person, you're.
people.
Nah, but that's why the
and-
game. That's why the game is stifled now because there's too much inspiration. Inspire yourself.
Oh, that was the point I was
Go
gonna make.
Go to God. Like I say all the time, stop looking out the window. Start looking in the mirror. Because the more you look in the mirror, the more you start to value yourself. the more you start to realize that you
Well,
matter.
I do. I stay home more than I go out
listen,
and
baby
do
girl,
things because
this
everybody
ain't for
wants
me.
me
This
to.
ain't me talking about you. I'm saying
No,
in general.
in general, yeah,
right?
yeah. Like
People
there's
have
things
to,
I've done in the last 5 years.
if you so busy, listen, if you so busy trying to find inspiration, you undermine yourself and the inspiration you get from looking at self. So for me, I don't need to listen or look at other rappers and this is my inspiration, right? No, I'm my inspiration. I get my shit from God. God gave me gifts and abilities. My voice is myself. I look like myself. I don't look in the mirror and see Dame Dash.
And before I lose my train of thought,
Yeah.
please can I get this out?
No, yeah,
to
got you.
compare to what you're saying.
Yeah.
Me being a film producer,
Yeah.
a lot of people, because I say I'm producing a series, they'll go, oh, do you watch this one and do
I
you
hate
watch
that.
that one and do
Yeah.
you watch? I don't watch none of them because I don't want my mind to even think what they
Right.
doing. So
Well,
my
yeah,
shit
as
is
creators,
authentic and
creative
come.
people, they
Max
don't even
B,
want to
I'm
hear
talking
other
about
music.
Max B
So
went a
I'll
long
understand
period of
that.
time not listening to music because he started to sound like what he was listening like. And art, Harlem is different.
So you think he got a
Harlem-
different sound? What are you saying? What are you saying? Like,
No, I think in the early stages, how he developed his sound was by developing his sound,
okay,
right? Like he was trying to be himself, right?
Yes.
So when you look at the golden era of hip hop and music, all those artists sound different because it was the culture to be different. See,
Yeah.
it was
Giving-
it
You're
was
talking
like-
about the first early
yeah,
rappers.
what I mean by that is
Okay.
like you'll be biting it. That's what you call it, like you biting his style, right? Coogee rap sounded like Coogee rap. Nas sounded like Nas. Rakim sounded like Rakim. Q-Tip sounded like Q-Tip. What's the motherfuckers? Foosh or whatever fuck them motherfuckers.
Fuji's? Fuji's?
Nah, the Foosh, it sound like that. People know that.
Yeah.
But there was a group,
Africa
right?
Bambaataa.
They used to rap fast, right?
Sugar Hill Gang.
All these different people, you can name 50 or 100 rappers from that time, and everybody sounded different, had their own identity. But when you fast forward today, everybody's trying to be like somebody else other than themselves. I just got the courage to be me. You heard? So I'm cool on inspiration. I can admire it as admiration. I can admire what
Well,
you
that's
do.
what I mean. That's what I meant.
Yeah, so say
but
that.
it's also other artists do get influenced by other artists,
I'm
like
an artist though. I'm me.
Bob Dylan.
But he would
influenced
call
by
it
Johnny
a
Cash,
control.
like-
That would be
But
how
that's
you
them, though.
controlled.
God bless them. That's them, right? That's them. So when you look at people like, I don't have no interest in being nobody else. And where I'm from, that's what I grew up seeing. I had people older than me like, yo, dude, listen, man, we ain't teaching me. This is how I go.
If someone listened to
If
your song
everybody-
and said,
everybody
"Hey,
like you, right? Look,
this sounds
if
like a
you're
Nas
girl, right?
song," would you
Hang
be
on.
offended?
If you're a girl, right? Everybody like you, right?
Okay.
I don't like you because everybody like you. I don't even want to deal with you, right? If everybody got this pair of sneakers, I'm going to get the complete just cause.
Well, that's how I am.
That's Harlem. Like we not doing that. Like we not dick rider. We not pocket chasing. We don't want the girl
Yeah.
that everybody got. We don't want the jewelry that everybody got. We don't want to move like how everybody want to move. You know what I'm saying? So,
I feel like I
Yeah,
hear what you're saying, but
yeah.
I feel like the guys I've met since I've moved here,
Yeah.
they're more particular than women. At least the ones I've encountered.
But listen, you met men that's a reflection of yourself. You heard? So
Interesting.
when we talking about
Be careful,
confidence
Ashley.
is-
I know, yeah.
No,
Big process.
No, it's all good. But that's the truth.
I'm not trying to be insulting to people in Harlem. I mean,
No.
you're
No,
from Harlem. I love
no,
you.
no.
But see,
I
again,
love the
That's
way
not
you
what I'm
think.
saying.
But again, listen.
I remember
again,
like being looked up and down, like a girl looks at another girl when they like their outfit, but they don't want to compliment them by a guy in Harlem.
but it depends on, like I said, it depends on the person. Like for me, I don't care about what you got going on. I don't care about your outfit. I don't care about your butt. I don't care about your titties. I don't care about nothing. Most women don't even add no value to men in this era, let alone know how to. And I'm too focused on building myself up, right?
Wait,
So-
how do women not
so,
add value? I
listen,
feel like guys
Let's not
go
get
for
into
the
that. Can
girls
we get
She
back
good,
to
she
what we
good.
was talking
that
about?
everybody
40
wants.
No, but
And
but that's
where this
relevant.
came from-
I got you. Let me land the plane though, because it's important, right? Like we don't.
I'm not arguing, I'm just questioning.
Nah,
No,
that's
we're
so
not
good.
arguing.
Curious,
No,
like,
we good. I don't feel that way. But check it out, right?
Right.
So,
I don't feel that way. You don't feel that way. Don't
that's,
feel no
That's
way.
how old Harlem was. We focus, and the man is priority. I know my value, and see what happens is because we condition that black men don't matter. There's this emasculation component they try to apply to a black man who cares about how he dressed, who cares about how he looks. I care about how I dress, how I look, how I smell, my teeth is, all that. I take care of myself, right? That's hygiene. I care about how my nails look. I care about all this shit, right? I'm gonna take care of myself. You heard? So
Somebody don't. Everybody don't have that.
there's a responsibility for that. And then when you start to have this confidence, Harlem is just on steroids with that shit. When you start to have this confidence, you
That's why I
project
say,
differently, right?
born
Hold on.
Miami,
It's
Harlem
important. No,
raised.
this is important for the camera because people got this old Harlem. I'm not talking about what's going on now. right?
Old Harlem, as in.
Talking about
You
the
think
people
I'm
that
young,
the
that's
Renaissance, the people that really set the tone for the shit, fashion, everything, trends, right? So it was this thing of individuality, and that's so important because if you start to focus on yourself, you're not gonna be influenced by nobody else. So we get the best
I
version.
think he's talking about me.
We not you.
Well, I know I
we get
can
the best
be-
In a good
version.
way.
We get the best
That's me all
version.
day.
And most men, right? Most men, black men, like I said, we condition not to have confidence. We condition that the woman is more important than us. But we supposed to be the head, the protector, the provider. So because we're not in a role that
I feel
values,
like if guys.
I'm not gonna claim
That
for the
values-
universe. Stop claiming the condition. Y'all got to get out of the condition.
But this is why smart guys here and my sciences that I'm creating to help us is here. The black man is a god. So at the end of the day, I'm not brainwashed by no white man, and I'm not trying to take on a woman who has that consciousness because she's gonna be destructive. She's volatile. You stay the fuck over there, and I don't care how many other brothers who are uninformed entertain the energy that you bring into your life. That doesn't validate my energy or devalue my energy. I know what I'm supposed to do and how I'm supposed to build and what I'm supposed to move like and how I'm supposed to be. I'm the original man, right? Yes. I invented math, right?
But I did want to ask you about
And
that
this
statement you
question
said
came
about women
from-
not
Right.
adding value, because I think women do add value to a man.
Check it out. I got you. But
Do you not?
don't-
How do you?
but
how is that not
But listen.
true?
So let me just finish this. I got you. We can address that. I invented math. I invented the decibel. I created everything, every science, everything. That's what black men did, right? So me, I got tired of this. Is how I got, and this is like answer one of the questions too. I seen a question. I got tired of this victim mindset that was forced on me. This is how I got into philanthropy. This is how I got into doing community work. I started to realize every other culture works together and sticks together. And then they condition us not to work together. And then a black man is like, if you care about your people, hey, something wrong with you. But in order to get the maximum money, you got to have a village. Can't do this by yourself. So I care about my people. So I had to educate myself on how to correctly, conducively care about my people. And then it led to understanding mantras, neuroscience, etc., etc. Then when I said women don't add value to men, I'm talking about black men, because women who have the slave consciousness, you're conditioned to have the ambitions of a man. You're conditioned not to value a man. You're conditioned not to be submissive. You're conditioned to be hyper masculine, hyper independent.
And what
Right.
particular, because you're speaking again, and this gets to where I know
it's
the
the culture.
slave mentality of
Yeah.
the culture.
Watch this. Check it
However,
out. Just be the fly on the wall. Check this out. What's a woman's role?
I've been the fly on the wall the whole damn time.
I got you. That's why we interviewed me, right?
Yes, we are
Ain't
interviewing
nothing wrong with
you.
that. That's okay. Make me the focus.
So-
Look, what's a woman's role?
Okay, my interpretation of a woman's
Watch
role
this.
in a relationship,
What's a woman's role?
a woman's role is to tend to the family when she has one, when she has a family.
Okay.
But as a daughter, I would tend to my parents. That's what we talked about before we started the show, because that's
What's a
how I was
woman's role-
raised,
What's a woman's role in accordance to the relationship?
to tend to the man. But I
In what
feel
way?
like
In what way?
like emotional support and to be that partner for them, and
What's the
vice
man-
versa.
okay, I
Though
got you.
the man should do that too.
What's the man's
That's
role?
kind of like in the Bible. The
What's
The
the
man
man's
supposed
role?
to
provides and protects,
be supposed
How
to.
does he
and
provide?
leads the family. So
How-
he
How does he provide?
he was a breadwinner.
So listen what I'm saying, right?
Old tradition.
Because we don't have the actual intentional ingredients, we don't get it. We just think we know, so it sounds good, right?
Is
So-
this wrong?
Yes.
No, dad, mom.
Yes.
My mindset is wrong.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, in today's
I mean,
society,
How
is that
women could
wrong?
Bring,
But you just said that, like-
in society, normal
Yeah.
old school society, yes, the man
So
is
look,
the
so I'm saying
provider.
this. Look, a woman's role. Hold on. A woman's role is wisdom and balance, right?
Yes.
So the first step.
The
this
balance
is,
could be
so,
helping
They
in the
said that's the
household
old
or
phrase:
whatever.
the wife is the neck
So listen.
in a marriage.
So there's two parts, right? And this is another thing that I teach and that I'm working on, right? Is the first phase is the developmental phase. Okay? So you have to be in a season of development before you go into a relationship. Because whatever skills you acquire, those are the skills that you're going to acquire to the relationship. Okay?
Right.
So the first thing you need to understand, wisdom, that means you have to be well read as a woman. This is why you're single.
Now,
right?
let's be particular. Wisdom in your space, not in.
No.
But it has to be connected to your wisdom.
No.
And
All right,
space.
he's gonna lay me out.
Because some people might like to say we're gonna save up and go and travel the world to relax, and then some people might just want to sit and watch TV.
I was
it's a general.
supposed to be married, but I broke my relationship.
It's a general.
You could have a husband who is not a hustler
do
and
those.
complacent with just providing, and then you can have a type of dude who wants to
you
go hustle for more.
You got your approach. This is my approach, okay? This is my perspective, separate from yours, okay?
I'm just going by being an experienced 52 on January 26th woman, marriage, several marriages, several kids, and just in life.
You got your approach.
Yes.
Right? It's different from mine.
Experience.
This is different from mine, okay? So now, the first phase has to be the developmental phase, right? The woman has to, as well as the man. The woman, if you keep cutting me off, I can't get it out. But let me because
I'm going to say what I understand, and
but
when
let
you
me
say
finish
that.
saying what I'm saying first, right? So the first phase is the developmental phase. She has to develop her wisdom. There's certain areas that she has to know about. One, the most important is nutrition. She needs to understand nutrition, okay?
The obvious. Some people love to health, and some people don't.
Not the obvious. But it's the obvious role of the woman because she's the nurturer, right? She's the caretaker, right? So
feeding the family,
right? But if she doesn't understand nutrition, right? Then we talk about diabetes, prostate cancer, etc., etc.
Are you talking about the woman's health, personal health, or how she can help her family?
So she has to understand nutrition.
Yeah, how you feed your family.
And then the next thing is she has to understand psychology, neuroscience, biology. Psychology meaning what we talked about, CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, right? She has to understand child psychology. She has to understand that the child's learning curve is the shortest between the ages of 0 to 7. She also has to understand war, right? And how she's leveraged as a pawn in war, so she can not only not be used by our enemy against us, but she can contribute wisdom when the king is actually going to war. Okay. The next thing, let me finish. If you just wait.
So basically, emotional
I'm waiting because
intelligence.
I'm going to start on, like, when you start on a relationship.
Something I said
it's
earlier.
good to, because it take about 2 to 3 to 5 years to really know a person. So it's kind of good to go really live with a person, to really know a person on a light side.
You believe in living before marriage?
No,
like,
you have to learn yourself.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying about
you can
sciences.
learn. You have to know yourself when you
Queen,
start connecting
Queen,
with another
but
person.
let me-
That's the bottom.
I got you.
First part.
So you have to be in season of self-development. So once you learn these sciences, nutrition, psychology, neuroscience, biology, think of it like somebody trying to be a doctor.
Just understanding yourself.
No. Not just no. We're talking about these exact specific things. You have to understand physiology, biology, chemistry, neuroscience, how the mind works, psychology, nutrition, having emotional intelligence, right? Then the next thing is you have to understand submission. What does submission mean? Submission means to be in agreement. And then you have to understand your role and what is the role of the man, okay? Now, what the man has to develop is he has to develop his ability to provide. How does the man provide? He gets provision from God. So through his relationship with God, he's getting provision, right? He can't get provision unless he prays. But you don't pray with your mouth. We've been conditioned to pray a certain way.
Everybody is, yes.
Right? You have to pray with your actions.
Because we're dealing with certain levels of people.
The actions,
that's where I'm coming from. You gotta
the actions
deal
you
with
take,
what you're dealing with.
The actions you take, moving towards what you're asking God for, is the prayer. The answer to the prayer and results is the provision. That is how you. That's how the man provides. Now, the man has to be a protector. So the man has to have an interest in boxing, martial arts, jiu-jitsu, wrestling.
So he's got to know how to fight.
No, it's not just knowing how to fight. He has to understand these arts. Boxing, martial arts, wrestling, marksmanship, right?
Okay.
Keep going. No, I want to hear this list.
Everybody is not on that higher plane.
No,
what if you have an individual?
It's not a what if, because this is what I'm saying. You can't, these are the ingredients. So the choice, my thing is, I can't make you do this. I'm here just to give you the ingredients because we've been conditioned to not be knowledgeable about these ingredients, okay? Now, let me finish.
Most mature people do have however they do it. I'm talking in most mature people.
But the man has to be understand self-defense, martial arts, boxing, marksmanship, etc., etc. And then now.
But what if the man don't? Then what?
You-
He's lost.
you-
He
you-
ain't gonna get a
you-
woman. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Or he'll never come to that
Yes.
light of having a
This is
relationship.
why-
I want
This
to
is
hear
why-
the whole recipe, though.
This
Hold
is
on.
why. This is why. What I said was, let me get this off, right? We can agree to disagree, right?
I'm not
We can do another
disagreeing,
episode. What I'm
'cause-
saying is, I don't want to
Because I have a husband who wrestles and does all types of stuff.
I don't want to get like
Jessica's-
I don't want to. I want to just get this off, right? This is my perspective, right? So we dealing with a slave consciousness. So if you don't do this, no, it's not going to happen. This is why we don't run the world. This is why white people run the world. This is why we don't own media. This is why we don't own our own satellites, radio towers. This is why we use Instagram instead of building Instagram. Okay, we're suffering from a slave consciousness.
But what are we gonna do when it
And-
started
and-
way before us? So you
and
can't get.
what you-
So how do we go?
what you-
Because we're
what you-
not a part of it. So how
what
do we
you-
survive?
I'm saying it, but you're cutting me off. So and then it's getting frustrating for me because I don't like jumping around. I like to finish points, right? So let me just get this off. The thing about relationships is we're not taught our actual roles because those actual roles are a threat to the people that empower. So this is why the black husband has no authority. Your husband has no authority in the world. He go outside, say the wrong thing to police officer, he can get killed. No repercussions. He don't run shit, neither do I. This is the system, right? So we have to
We all understand that system.
yeah.
Because
So
I
we
mean,
don't. So we
So
don't.
I need a Captain America.
So we can't have delusions of. If you want to just talk, go ahead. I'll shut the fuck up, and
No,
then we could just finish it like that.
want you to explain because you just said if he don't have no authority or whatever.
don't.
So what? Because nobody
You
does.
jumping right.
Let him finish.
I explained it all. That's why when I first started off, what we talked about, I talked about my mantra. I talked about the slave consciousness. I talked about breaking these generational curses and what they are. That's the first thing I said. Then I went into talking about why I talk the way I talk, how I handle myself, because we live in a serious times. It's not play time, right? And, you know, I have ambitious goals for myself, for my community, for my people, for my race. So I got to be on a whole different type of frequency. Now, when she was talking about relationships, I'm giving her the ingredients and I ask her these questions because I know most of us don't know the ingredients for this. Because if we did and we applied it, we wouldn't be in bondage anymore, okay? We wouldn't. It would change. So now I'm giving her the ingredients, like the audience, because we on camera. The first phase is self-development. You have to develop yourself. Too many people are underdeveloped, going into relationships with the responsibility of development. The man is underdeveloped. So now he's going into here, he can't lead nothing. So how can a woman be submissive to a man that can't lead? And if the woman doesn't know what submission means, how can she even be submissive? And then if you're conditioned, and you are, not to respect me, not to respect my authority, not to respect my dominance, then you're going to be doing too much talking when you should be listening. You're going to be doing too much vocalizing and not internalizing. So you're not getting the best of the revelations that I'm getting from God. So now I can't even lead you because as soon as I say something, it's a trigger. I got to break it down 30 different times. But if you was listening, you would have heard the breakdown the first time because I broke it down the first time. Now, when we talking about relationships, right? Your role is wisdom and balance. Yes, you have to be a cook, right? It's not just I'm cooking beans and rice and roast boils and whatever, right? I got to be mindful of the amount of sodium, calories. Like I have to understand the woman has to know, she has to know nutrition, right? So she's not giving her kids a dosage of sugar, So now, because you don't understand sugar, you leaving, you working, right? Kids is, all right, ma, they eating cereal.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I grew up eating all the food groups.
I'm half Dominican.
So hearing and seeing how my nephews and nieces eat, which is like all junk.
Diabolical. But it's what I'm saying.
Like,
if the mother knows nutrition.
To me, it's crazy.
But this goes from the plantation. Right? But this goes from, what I'm saying, this goes back to the slave consciousness, right? So when our women start to understand this, right? And they start developing these skills. Now, when you go into a relationship, you're bringing your vibration into that relationship. As a man, when I go into a relationship, I'm bringing my vibration into that relationship. If you're not in alliance with my vibration, it's going to be signs too loud to ignore. Okay? Now, the next thing, right, is
you're talking about the man traits.
the man has to understand
all those fighting
right skills. And then now you have these two developed people. the woman has to understand submission. Submission means to be in agreement. What are you in agreement with to that man? You're in agreement with the revelations that I receive from God. God gives me revelations for leadership. God gives you revelations for submission. I lead, you follow. Non-negotiable. That's how it's supposed to go. Because we come from slavery, when a black man talks like that, the black woman has been delusional. Y'all been conditioned. Y'all been forced into independence. We talking about historically. Y'all was forced into, not by choice. Y'all was forced into independence, and you were given things to nurture that forceful independence that undermined me. So now I'm no longer the head of the household. But if you look at African families, traditional African families, you know the African husband, he take care of everything. How's he able to do that? The wife is not even damn near working. She may want to work in a beauty salon. She works if she want to, but he driving cabs and doing deliveries, and he taking care of 10 kids. How's he doing that? Because the provision of God is enough to cover his family, right? And they live under that traditional, the woman is dependent upon the man completely. But America Americanized our women, so now they don't even depend on us because they don't feel they don't even think they can depend on us. And if you ask them to depend on us, they're so busy trying to be themselves or be independent or their own desires that they don't even want to be dependent on a man. They want to have their own life. They want to have their cake and eat it too. But you wonder why we don't have no nation. Now, when we get into a relationship, it's the last point. I'm starting to land a plane. A woman has to understand the 3 phases of love. The first phase of love is informative. You have to inform that man. Yo, you're the head of the household. You run the show. I submit to you. You're informing him, but you're also informing him of how he's supposed to go to God and what he's supposed to specifically, not freestyle. Not you calling God and saying, hey, what's up, God? No, hey, God, I need my provision. You're informing him of what provision is.
I actually do that. The last breakup I had, the guy wouldn't leave me alone. I said, you need to talk to God, not me.
Yeah, that. But
pray.
But that ain't
pray.
That ain't that. You know what I'm saying? So you're informing that man.
It's dismissive, but I just thought it was ironic that you said that because I do that.
But you don't.
Like,
I
say that to people.
Can we? Because you've gone and if you've broken it down, and it's from your wording is no one's out here capable of anything. So going into life, I've seen many strong families, and yes, I understand with the God part and all of that, which yes, you have to have your spiritual. And what I was saying earlier is because everyone is not on a higher plane like you and think like you, we have to start somewhere, and starting somewhere is when somebody, because usually most relationships, most women that talk about it go through problems and problems and problems, and they do have to connect and really understand themselves before they can even love and understand another individual.
It doesn't work that way. If you don't, and I didn't say, I didn't, you put words in my mouth. What I said was this: we have to separate from the slave consciousness, and we do. And this is what my work is about. So what happens is when I get on interviews or I do create content with people, if it goes like this, it's like everybody wants to just have this thing where, look, if you got questions, right?
Your words keep saying no one can, no one is ready, no woman is ready.
I never said that.
But she's not.
No, what I said was you have to be in a season of self-development.
You said nobody's capable. You said no one. That. We're all in bondage because we're not thinking correctly. So that's where I'm coming from.
We are in bondage. I just told you.
So everyone's not on a higher plane.
No,
everybody's not on a
focusing
understanding.
On self-development.
So there's some people out there that are connected with God, and like I'm saying, like a woman who's going through so much in relationships where when she's talking to people and it all comes back, because it's a normal thing, it comes back to when you're having so many problems in a relationship, it's probably it kind of reflects on the person, right? It's usually like when they break down.
The thing about it is we deal with systemic racism. So what happens is we're so programmed not to hold white people accountable.
No, let's get to what I said. A woman who's been going through a lot of relationships.
Let's just move on because I feel like I'm beating a dead horse and we wasting time.
No, it was just more so getting on how, and I was just basically saying you have to start at some place of understanding another person and wanting to be whatever their levelness is, so you could go into balance and then get into where it might not work. You guys might not match or whatever. Basically just saying in general, a lighter scale, because everyone's not on a heightened level like you and have
we can agree to
your
disagree.
strength.
The problem with us is Whatever you got. You want to keep going now?
If you
Yeah.
guys know you're gonna be going more than 5 minutes, I should.
We might. You know what I'm saying? Y'all was late too. More than 5 minutes, right?
No, I'm saying you good to go.
Oh, all right, cool.
As long as you gotta go.
All right,
I'm
bet,
saying
bet.
that
For
you
sure.
got 5 minutes.
All right, so let's run the 5 out, and then we got to, you know what I mean? But check it out, right? So we deal with slave consciousness. We're taught not to. See, God got plans. God has structure, right? So there's no freestyling with God. And when you're in alignment with God, in the order of God, and you get revelations from God, like I do for leadership, then you talk this way. And then you're able to sequence it. You're able to put it in practice. You're able to create ingredients, right? So if our women knew that they have to develop these things, when they get with a man, they can play their part adequately, right? And then
How do we decipher the guy and quality though? Because you guys, for the most part, will say and do whatever.
But this is what
to
I
get
said
in
about.
our good graces.
But this is what I said. No, we won't get in your good graces for what? You're talking about men. See, you're talking about women who are suffering from their own personal over sexualization, and then because you do that to yourself.
There are some asshole men out there that be facading women.
You put every man in that category.
No, I give everybody personally. I'm talking about myself.
Delusion.
No,
because
I just want to say this though.
Yeah.
Personally, for me, I'm someone who gives everybody the
When you
benefit
say
of the
good
doubt.
graces, what do you mean?
What I mean is, I take
no
my
stereotypes.
blind I take my blind
And see
trust
what
and getting
they
to
gonna
know
bring.
them.
If a man is not trying to get in your good graces. You should be trying to get in his good graces. So you already have the thing twisted. So now, if the man, we talking about a man that's the leader, right?
I'm talking about a man who pursues me, right?
Listen.
Who's showing interest in me.
Queen.
Even if I'm not attracted to them, not out of loneliness or anything, but because I believe in personality over looks personally. Like, I like your personality. If I can have a good conversation, if you have some sense, I will give you a chance. But then I feel like a lot of guys will say and do anything.
You give him a chance. What do you mean? Like,
I mean,
that way
giving
of
them my
thinking-
time and attention because I focus on me
That's
more
why-
than anybody else.
Yeah. Hey, listen.
So that's self-development
I think
to me.
everybody should be
That's
worthy.
no.
That's
No.
it's not
So,
being like I'm
it's
a
a-
pecking order. It's more about, for me, it's more about like,
Yeah.
is this person somebody I want to put any attention on right now because I'm focusing on me. I want to be a
Everybody
better
don't
me.
deserve that, but some people do deserve that.
And
when they're
okay, but I'm just
at the
arguing
level.
like in someone who is dating or who's out there or wanting to or willing to take that chance. I'm not prioritizing dating at all right now in my life, but I'm just saying as a woman, speaking about relationships, I do want to get married one day. I am looking for someone with a mindset like that has, God in their life and then
Yes.
also has goals and meets
At least
those
a little
goals
bit.
and has direction, and I the same. I want that for myself as well. So what I'm saying is, though, good graces, and what I mean by that is a guy will say what you want to hear. A guy will
No, he
do
won't.
all the right things.
No, you won't.
you don't
When he
agree
first-
that there's
No.
some
You don't think that there's men out there that
bamboozling women?
aim to just...
You attract. This is what I said. You are.
I attract what I don't want.
You're
Even by
you're
being open?
sexualizing yourself, and then you're attracting people based upon your own personal sexualization. And there's limitations.
So what is that? What I'm wearing? How I'm acting?
There's
What am I
limitations.
doing that's sexualizing?
Yeah. There's you. Oh, okay.
I
So
didn't
it's in the
realize I'm
frame?
not even in the frame.
Yeah. So no, I can say it again. You're sexualizing yourself, and you're creating these scenarios based upon your own personal sexualization, and then you have expectations outside of sexualization, but you sexualize yourself. And then
What do
now-
you mean by that?
and then
Explain
now-
sexualizing.
but
What
let
are
me-
the traits of someone
gonna
sexualizing
say you're not
themselves?
listening.
I'm just making
You
sure I
ain't listening
understand.
either. But it's all good.
listening.
You know what I mean? But so what I'm saying is this is what you're doing, and then now you have these delusional expectations outside of what you are attracting to yourself. But you're attracting that. And again, this is why this is so important. This curriculum that I'm developing and the book that I'm dropping within about 2 weeks. This is why your ass is single.
That's what it's called?
Yeah.
Can I get an autographed copy?
A black woman's guide to understanding the black man and the systems of relationships. That's what the book is about. This conversation specifically, right?
So when it's done, please let us know so we can read and come back.
Yeah, for sure. So let me get this off uninterrupted,
Yes.
please. Our women, because this is a serious issue. Our women, black women, have to understand they have to be in the seasons of self-development, okay? And then you have to understand the 3 phases of love. This is in my first chapter in my book. The first phase of love is informative. Your wisdom, you're informing this man of his role, right? but tone is important, right? How you're saying it. And then you're informing him of not only his role, but what are the approaches he has to take to be in that role. Prayer in particular, okay? So he has to pray with his actions, moving towards what he's asking God for. And you're reminding him that he has to ask God for provision, okay? Then now the second phase of love is unconditional. It's empathy, right? So you have to have a period of time where you have to be away with him so he can start to apply the informative version of love and the information that you gave him through your wisdom, right? And through the revelations that God gave you for wisdom in submission, right? Now, this phase of unconditional love, you have to, I had a whole, I don't know if I left it in a car, but I had some things, right? Where it was like, step 1, daily conversations about life, family, God, gentle reminders of the provision he gets from God. Daily conversations. I mean, like the way you brush your teeth. You're informing him of his role, provision, prayer, etc., etc. The revelations that he's going to receive, how he's going to receive them, right? The next thing is you have to express belief in him out loud. Publicly, right? Publicly express your agreement with him. I trust your judgment. I love you. I love how you handle that. Showing and vocalizing
So
your
positive reinforcement.
showing and vocalizing your agreements in public. Spoken confidence lands deeper than assumed support, right? And then you have to be consistent. This is I'm talking about 30 days of this shit. Non-negotiable. Because
I would hope this is the entire relationship, not just the first 30 days.
No, it is. Because
Okay.
we're talking about solving problems, right? So you're conditioning him to develop new habits for masculinity and how to be a man with this way. You're now weaponizing your unconditional love, not against him, but against the people that make it hard or hinder him
To
from
make him feel inferior.
from being a man. Yes. So now spoken confidence lands deeper than assumed support. Acknowledge effort, not just the outcome, right? Acknowledge the effort. So if he come home with $10,000 and say, baby, I'm paying the bills for the next 6 months, oh my God, but you won't have that same energy when he's applying himself to position himself to acquire that capital. So acknowledge every effort, not just the outcomes. Notice
that. I do that even in prayer.
Just listen. Notice his discipline, consistency, and intention. I see how hard you're working. It's inspiring. Make home his. This is all the second phase, which is unconditional love. Okay, and it's not your fault. It's the white man's fault. Because the slave consciousness stops you from being this way with your husband, with your husband potentially to be. Okay? So make the home his place to regroup and recharge. Invite his leadership. Ask for his perspective and guidance. Reinforcing that his insight is valued and trusted. I'm talking about being OD with it. Baby, I cannot figure this out without you. If you don't give me the answer, I'm going to fail. What do you think? That's a different type of approach. Okay, because it takes a lot of humility, and then you have to also understand that you have to have right, offer physical affection without conditions, simple touch, closeness, not foreplay. Affection should not be associated with performance. A lot of men who are stressed out in marriages, sometimes they have erectile dysfunction, they go through inconsistent things, and it's just too much stress. And then when the woman is being gentle, it's like, does he think he gotta fuck? He think he gotta perform. So it needs to be affection without conditions associated to performance. Also, active listening, right? Active listening. When he's speaking, give you his beat.
Undivided attention.
Yeah, no, I mean, but listen, you say that, but this is real. Okay?
A lot of people don't know how to do that.
Yeah, put your phone
on
away,
both
put your
ends.
phone down, turn the TV off. When he's talking to you, shut the fuck up and let him know that the earth just fucking stopped because he opened his mouth. Watch the type of fucking leadership you start bringing out of that man when you listen to that man like that. Now, the next thing is encourage goals and hobbies. Okay? Encourage goals and encourage the goal. Encourage the hobby. Don't downplay it. Don't say, yo, you gotta be realistic. Don't know. Encourage the goal. Encourage the hobby. Next thing is express appreciation. Thank him for everything he does, no matter how small. Because when shit goes wrong, that shit lives longer with you than when shit goes right.
We got to invite you back for Valentine's February
Right,
relationship.
boom. Now this is we talking about unconditional love. This is a phase, but this is we weaponizing it. Now you're doing it. It's like a plan, right? It's like I'm doing it this way to get this out of this man, right? Now the last phase of love is tough love, which is accountability, right? Clear communication. but you're focused on the behavior without name calling. Be direct but kind, stating the issue clearly. And if you need help, I got your back. You reinforce the support. Accountability should feel like a collaboration, not a confrontation. Okay, and then understanding that you make it feel like teamwork. Right? Focus on impact, not guilt. The emphasis is on responsibility, not shame. Right? And then also encourage self-reflection, inspire accountability from within. Hey, baby, I know you're having. It seems like you're having a tough time with this. What do you think is the real issue? Just think about that, right? I cooked for you. If you want to talk about it, just know I got your back. You're encouraging him to be on his own, troubleshooting his own, shortcomings in the marriage, in the relationship, or whatever. And it's being gentle. It's like, because I want to change the behavior. I don't want to shame you for the behavior. I don't want to I want this to change, right? So I have to go about change in this specific way. This is what I want women have to do. So they encourage self-reflection, inspire accountability from within. Accountability should feel like a collaboration, not confrontation. Stay calm, because accountability works best in a loving, calm, consistent environment. If you haven't developed that calmness in your season of self-development, then it's going to be hard to do that when you get to the relationship, right?
That's kind of what I
think
said.
I'm already on another dimension
I
of that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
probably why I
Today's
haven't
show,
met anybody like that.
Smart guy coming.
In my opinion.
He wants to talk about.
Don't look at me like
Because
that.
we ain't talking about nothing we was going to talk about.
Yeah, we did. We covered everything. Now we got to cover only two things we got to land, which takes us maybe 5 more or 15 minutes after he reloads, is the Harlem debate, the Nicki Minaj thing.
Do you want to talk about those
I have
things?
no problem with that. And that was all the questions. So we were 2 questions away from finalizing the interest that you had.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't finished because we started this off.
I just wanted him to elaborate.
He's not recording
this-
right now.
He's not
recording,
okay.
right? You jumped
Well, he
in?
can do it off
Migo?
camera because I have
No,
a
he's still
question for
recording.
him.
It's about 1 minute and 35 seconds left, right? What's
Can
11
you
minutes
put
left?
This question all came about.
I want to ask him, how do women sexualize themselves and attract the wrong type of guy? Explain that more in detail. Because what do women do, whether they realize it or not, that's attracting the wrong
Well, the first
guy?
thing, you know how you sexualize yourself, because you sexualize
Well,
yourself.
I'm curious on your perspective on what that is.
But you know how.
I'm not sure how. That's why I'm asking.
Because you haven't been in the season of self-development, you haven't developed those other areas of you. So you don't value those other areas of yourself, such as we talking about, the active listening, all the things I covered in terms of the unconditional phase of love. Mm-hmm. You haven't really developed those things. So you don't value those things, and you don't even lead with those things. And there's like low key, maybe an insecurity or low self-esteem in those areas because they're underdeveloped, but you take pride in your booty, you take pride in the bust. So there's a way that you dress and you approach it.
It's my outfit. That's sexualization.
So what I'm saying is, you take pride in, and it's nice, right? But if you're not developing the other areas in yourself, in your womanhood, that actually matter to a real man, then you're going to be without a man, okay? And society puts a big pressure on this.
So what I'm wearing, how I put myself out there physically, visually, is a big part of this, is what you're saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
because sex.
Are we almost done?
Sex,
I have one good question.
Sex and how you dress is a form of nonverbal communication.
Because when I communicate with people,
answer this question.
It's not about
sex. If I go
sex.
into a bank with a hoodie on and a mask and my hands in my pocket, what is the security officer gonna react like?
Fear.
Right. Why? I said nothing. I just walked
you're
in.
in disguise.
Why am I in disguise? Why can't just have a hoodie on?
You said a mask.
Yeah. Why can't? I'm trying to not catch COVID. Because
depends on what type of mask.
No, it's a trick question. Because the reason why is because it's nonverbal communication, right? You're non-verbally communicating with men.
So I'm saying, treat me like shit because I'm wearing a keyhole dress with my cleavage showing.
So what you want to do is you want to justify your own, like I said earlier, you want to sexualize yourself and then have expectations outside of.
Even when I'm not dress revealing, I seem to attract the worst kind of guy.
Because
curious,
you probably have the worst kind of subliminal repetitive thoughts that you're thinking.
Do you lead with your Instagram or your phone number? If you don't mind me asking.
That's a good question.
You
Instagram, because I don't like to give my number
listen,
because boys call and they're too scary.
So what happens
Feels
is
too personal.
So what happens is you sexualize yourself, and then you haven't developed the things outside of your sexualization that matter to a real man, so you're not going to attract a real man. And then now you think this is the problem with the men when it's really you're the problem. And because you haven't taken that accountability for sexualizing yourself, you're going to continue.
No, I can take accountability.
You're going to continue to get.
That's also why I think guys won't leave you alone, because I'll own up to I overreacted and it throws them, but they can never take accountability. They can never be wrong for what they do. And I'm okay to walk away. I'm always okay to walk away. So
but you do notice this is why you're going to be single.
But it's not like I'm afraid to be single.
But she
forever.
did start off.
For me, it's more like
and I think
I'm willing, and my heart is open.
And that's why I'm writing the book. If our women, right, and again, you're talking about an ego given to you by our colonizer. Because if you were afraid to be single, if you were afraid to not have a man, and you led with that, then maybe it would change how you take accountability in the things that you're, required to develop that you haven't actually developed. And then now when we talk about...
I know I'm a work in progress.
And then
we're talking
about
healed.
And then we talking about the marriage, right?
No, she started off by saying she gives a person a chance.
What do you mean? That doesn't even sound right.
She doesn't know him.
I'm open to meet a person and get to know them.
You have no value because you haven't developed the value. So you have no value because you haven't developed the value. You keep listening to what I'm saying.
Yes, I understand. But the first step is meeting someone. So by her saying
he's saying first step is focusing on myself.
The first step is the self-development.
I'm open to
You're
meeting
so busy like
else.
we're talking, right? And I'm saying this to you. I've been saying it for like maybe the last hour and a half, right? You're not hearing what I'm saying. And I'm saying it, you're so busy trying to talk. You need to internalize it before you vocalize it.
I heard you. A person needs to, and that's what I said.
You are responsible for who comes to your life.
Understand before they can start.
Right.
They gotta
and
love
that's also
why.
That's also why I choose Instagram, because of that. Because I don't know if I want that energy in my life.
How do you get to know a person?
Right.
It's not about knowing a person. You got to know yourself.
Well,
okay.
That's
once you know yourself,
also why I'm willing to go.
Know yourself.
How do you meet a person?
You're not asking questions. What you're doing is you're.
Well, how do you start a relationship?
You're not
how
listening.
do I say it?
I'm saying it, but I said it this whole interview.
He's saying
you got to know yourself.
All these steps, yes, but
okay, you know yourself. Now you know
yourself.
You still
not. Now you're talking to someone.
What's the mantra? How you think creates how you feel. How you feel becomes an emotion. That emotion becomes a vibration. That vibration becomes a magnet that attracts things to you. Also repels things away from you. The woman doesn't choose the man chooses you.
Okay, everyone's not there yet with you.
This is why
then
it's not about.
So she shouldn't be dating. That's what you're saying.
It's not about me.
Right.
You're not listening.
How is she gonna know when she's there?
I'm already not.
Well, how do you know? Maybe that's what. How do you know when you're ready?
The first you gotta listen, and you gotta be able to separate your beliefs from mine, and allow the space for disagreements, so I can give my perspective. And you're not hearing my perspective.
I'll let you have your perspective.
You're not, because you keep asking questions that I answered already, and that's
I'm
okay.
supposed to ask you questions
You
for
asking
clarity.
you asking the same question.
And all I said,
again.
well, how do you know? Well, how do you know when you're ready?
You gotta know you gotta know yourself.
Okay, now that she knows herself, then how do you start?
No, what do you mean? You have to know yourself. Once you know yourself,
then that's when she knows.
That's not
okay. You knowing yourself, then automatically,
you're not.
When you hear this person,
but why are you not listening?
You know if they're at your level.
Let's try this real. Give me 20 seconds and just don't say nothing.
I did.
Give me 20 seconds and don't say nothing.
I think I said it like.
Give me 20 seconds and don't say nothing. Why I say this, right? Just give me 20 seconds. Okay, is that okay?
I've given you more than 20 seconds.
Yeah, there you go. Help you out.
That's really what I was waiting for.
Got you.